So we have this question in, which is very, very interesting. I think a lot of people will connect with this or that'll resonate. A lady who is a member of a social group that I'm involved in really upsets me. She tries to copy everything I do. When I buy something new, she wants to know where I bought it, how much it costs, because she wants to buy exactly the same thing. She's done this a number of times. She bought the same shoes, the same dresses, the same jewelry. She even booked a holiday, the same location that I was going with my family, and I was shocked when I saw her in the same hotel at the same time. What's going on with her?
Okay, Alan, that's a little bit different, certainly. And if we look at the theme of the subject of what's going on here, copying, somebody copying. And we remember when we were in school, right? I got slapped on my hand. I remember very clearly once with my school teacher for copying. So what's going on with copying? There are two females, right? I understand that correctly.
Two females, that's right, yeah.
Two females, yeah. So the lady, let's put names on the two people so that when we're talking about the two people, everybody's connecting.
Good idea.
The lady who is copying, we will call her Bridget, right? Anne-Marie, okay? So Bridget is copying Anne-Marie. So we have here a very insecure person. So insecure on the outside that she sees within the other person a very large need. If I have everything that she has and I look like her, I feel safe and secure inside. Okay? That's Bridget the copier. Now, the lady who's being copied, for every conflict between two people, there is something within those two people independently that is hurting. We'll call it the wound, and it's a wound from the past. So Bridget the copier has a wound, and I'll explain more about what I feel that is. And the lady who's being copied as well, by the very fact that she has a reaction by the copier, there is a wound also, because that's what conflicts are. Wounds between the two people, and they clash. But the habit of most of humanity is to blame and point a finger, rather than look inside themselves. Like, we haven't learned from very early age in school the greatest secret and lesson of freedom in life. If there's a conflict, look within yourself and see why you have that reaction with the other person, rather than going about saying, you know, why is she doing that to me? And blaming and gossiping, which is a nice, unhealthy, I want to say nice, but a very popular unhealthy habit of humanity. So that's the first thing that's going on. There's two people with two issues of wounds from the past. Does that make sense, Alan?
That does make sense to me, yeah. Now, as you're saying it, and it's slightly off topic, but I think everybody, when they hear it, they apply it directly to themselves. And, you know, part of me, it's a little part of me coming up saying, so I understand what you're saying. She's pulling this energy into herself because there's a wound there, but there's a part of me saying, hey, no, does the conflict always have to be two people? Maybe I'm okay and the conflict is just with the other person. There's just a part of me saying that, you know, maybe I'm okay.
Well, that's a very, very important point. And okay, let's look at Bridget, who is copying Anne-Marie. Why is Anne-Marie not happy and excited and complimented by Bridget? That is, wow, she likes what I have so much that she is copying me.
Yes.
Another person may be complimented by that, but Anne-Marie is not. She's offended and upset by it. So in the conflict, remember this, that the ingredients in the conflict and your reaction in the conflict is actually a mirror image of yourself. So let's look at the person who's offended first by Bridget, or Anne-Marie, who's offended by the copying. She is a person very probably that is very conscious of how she looks on the outside. She buys a lot of clothes and accessories and shoes, etc., etc. And that's all very, very nice and beautiful for a woman to do that. But if we're buying to cover up something, a wound from the past, there isn't necessarily ever freedom in how you feel and how you look. That type of person will probably receive compliments from other people, but won't receive the compliments from the person she needs it from, and the need being a wound also. So just for example, maybe she's a person that is always very, very conscious of how she looks, but she very seldom gets a compliment. Let's assume she has a husband. She will very seldom get a compliment from her husband, and that hurts.
And that's the person she needs it from.
The dressing keeps going on and on and on. I buy the next pair of shoes and the next dress. This is the one that is really going to fit me, and I'm going to have all the confidence and the security that I feel I don't feel inside, on the outside, with this special outfit. Okay?
Yeah.
So then the copier is certainly a person that is very, very insecure. She was probably almost in a sense abandoned in a way, not noticed at all as a child. And she's a woman dressing up, trying to copy somebody else. So it's very likely in that family background is a mirror. A father maybe that really does not know how to value the woman. The wife is at home and she's the cook and the housekeeper and many other things for the needs of the man, but there isn't that total lack of value of feminine essence. So this lady grows up looking for attention. Or it could be the other way around, a mother who is very dominant, but there's an imbalance there in the energy of masculine and feminine energy. First of all,
it's really, really interesting. You know, from my perspective, I'm kind of coming at a little bit from the male perspective, but I think if a man was in that situation with a woman, and it's very easy to suddenly go into roles of mother and housekeeper and cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. And how would a man support a woman in that situation? Let's say one of these women who had this kind of issue, either the copier or the person who's copying, and if they're not being, I guess part of it is the childhood, as you were saying, but part of it might be the ongoing today situation with their husband or whatever. And I don't want to take you off track too much, but is there a way the husband can make sure that he's supporting in a way that she feels secure without having to buy the extra clothes or buy the extra, either copy someone or really, really care. Appearance is not a bad thing to care about your appearance, but that it's just caring in a way that she's trying to cover something up. And how would a husband show her that he notices her in a way that she doesn't have to worry about that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that question. And first of all, the husband would not know how to support that in a way he cannot actually support it in a way that will satisfy the person. What the person must do is get rid of the wound.
The original wound.
Okay, the original wound. For instance, if you cut your hand, right? And you go to your wife and you say, "Can you fix that?" Right? Right. She can help you put on a plaster, but it's actually you that's doing the healing. Yes. Like I'm using that as an example in a very physical way. So she could go to her husband and say, "Look, I really, really need that dress." Right, and he can support by saying, "Okay, do you really need another dress? You have a pile of dresses in the closet." No, I love this one. And yes, he's probably a supportive husband, but he's a little bit going, "Oh God, that woman has so many clothes," from the man's point of view. But he gives her the money. So he's in a way dressing the wound, but only she can heal it. And that cycle will go on and on and on. Sometimes it can go to extremes and the husband can't stand it any longer and there could be a separation. Just say in a very extreme situation, she divorces him. She's just not getting what she needs.
Yeah.
And then off she goes, a divorce meets another man that this guy, it's a bit like the dress, this guy is going to give me what I need.
Yeah.
Until you heal the wound inside, it just goes on and on and on.
Makes sense.
So both of these ladies have insecurities, both of them, the lady who's copying and the lady who's being copied. There are insecurities by the very fact that there's a negative reaction between the two of them. If I present you a question, Alan, from my point of view, but
Sure.
look, I'm interested in the man's point of view.
Yeah.
If you went to a very special reunion and you went and you bought your suit and your tie and all of that, all the clothes that you needed, and you went and there was another man there with the same clothes, the exact same outfit, went to the same store or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
Well, I don't know if I'm unique in this or if this is a male perspective, but I'll give you my perspective. That clothes are not that important to me. If I go to a business meeting, I'm wearing a suit and a tie because that's what's expected. Or if I go to a ball where I have to wear a tuxedo, because that's what we're expected to be there. And sometimes I'll wear a t-shirt and I feel the same no matter what I'm wearing. I'm still the same person in a t-shirt as I am in a tuxedo. So for me, it doesn't really. If someone else if I go in and someone else wearing the same clothes as me, it's not even going to go on my radar. In fact, I might go up and we might be clothes brothers for the day that we happen to wear the same thing. But it certainly wouldn't be anything that upsets me or anything like that. It wouldn't bother me for a second. I might notice it for 10 seconds or something like that, but it's not going to affect my day in any way.
No, and that's very important. But why?
I have no idea.
Because you don't have an issue. You don't have an issue. You don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, no, I do. Like, I think everyone has issues, but certainly in that area, it wouldn't bother me for a second. Yeah.
Well, can you give me an example of something that does bother you?
Oh.
Let's look at one of your wounds, or I can give you an example of one of my wounds in the past. I've done a lot of work to clear my wounds, but so it's just really to say, the point I'm making is that is, yes, there are particular issues between the copier and the copied from wounds from the past.
Yeah, I just thought of
and
something.
It's certainly around insecurity and about being noticed, about being appreciated, and the final bigger picture, it is about feminine sacred essence as well. So that, and it's very, very important that a woman has all of that within her to feel whole and complete.
Yes.
And that is why, the fashion industry is so successful, particularly for the market of women, is because it is really, we're buying into insecurity a lot of the time. Yeah,
it's really, really interesting because you hear about people, and a lot of this I don't understand on a deep level just because I'm not a woman. I think to understand it, I wouldn't need to be a woman. On a deeper level, I can understand on a kind of surface level. But you hear about people talking about magazines, particularly women's magazines, and they talk about the perfection or trying to get this perfection. And a lot of time it's actually not reality because it's photoshopped and whatever else magic they do to make something look. Yeah. So it's very, very interesting you say that people are buying in to try to, because if they're trying to buy something that is beyond perfection, if it's beyond the perfection that you can get on the real world without photoshopping all your pictures, then you can never actually get to there where people are wanting to get to anyway. And maybe that's the case. Just if it's a wound that you're trying to heal, that you're never going to get to it because you're actually going in the wrong direction. It's actually, you have to go back and actually heal the wound rather than buying more clothes to cover up the wound.
Exactly, right, spot on. That's exactly what it is. And so then we have got to become aware, and that's the secret, to become aware. You ask the question, if any type of conflict that you're in, and that you're in conflict with another person, and this is this angry, negative entry between the two people. Each one has something within them. You cannot have a conflict with another person if you don't have part of those ingredients already within you. There's something. So the first thing we have to drop is the blame game. right? And then really become aware of what is going inside within you. Now, it's very difficult if you've never done it before. It's very difficult to do that yourself. I highly recommend going to a professional.
Yeah, for the original wound.
Yeah, to help you go back. Now, nobody can fix it for you. We as professionals, we're guides in a very particular way, in a very gentle, loving way, to help you to go back. And first of all, see it, then accept it. Not accept it that you want to have that wound, but to accept that it is there and that it needs some medicine to get rid of it. So there are various different types of medicines. There can be, well, usually for this type of work, it's emotional medicine. And then the guide or the professional will guide the person also to work with that. When the wound is gone, you will never have that reaction to that particular situation again. That lady could wear an outfit and go to a wedding, and 50 ladies could be wearing the same dress and it wouldn't bother her. And you would just laugh at it, you know. You'd see the humor in it. Or maybe you wouldn't even notice it, because the wound is not there, you wouldn't even notice it. You know, it's gone. All the transformation.
And what about the other person, the person who is copying? Is that person going to disappear out of her life? Or the reason I'm asking is because, let's say, people are probably applying this to all kinds of conflicts. And conflicts within families and things like that as well. And what happens once you work on that wound? Let's say you're working that wound, and over time you heal that wound. What happens to the other person then? Because you know, in this case, there's another person who's copying. Is that other person's copying? They're going to disappear from her life, or she'll still be there, won't have the same reaction, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I love that question. When a particular person decides to take on the responsibility for themselves to heal a wound, the ingredients that are causing the negative reaction, they fall away. They fall away. And what, in my own experience, what happened in my life is that the people that were my mirror image to see what I need to heal within me, they faded away, but they faded away in a way that I was not angry with them, or they with me. Well, even if they were angry with me, it didn't matter, because I didn't have the wound anymore, because both people have to do their work, both people, you know. So we just go reverse a little bit with this particular case, these two ladies. If both people don't have the awareness of how to work with this conflict, what usually happens is that there's, you know, chatting to the other women about her and this, that, and the other, and the copier is going to say, I don't understand it. Anne-Marie avoids me like a plague, you know. She sees me and she runs, right? Anne-Marie is the lady who's being copied. Bridget is the copier, sorry. So Bridget is saying, yeah, about Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie runs away from me. Anne-Marie is going to feel, she may leave the club. She may actually leave the social group because she just can't tolerate that situation anymore. So, and she may go to another group, but she will, it is for certain, experience other situations, maybe not exactly the same, but similar.
Yeah.
And we will keep experiencing similar experiences. You heard it, why is this happening to me again? Right? Why is this happening to me again? It's because we keep attracting the information we need to heal the wound. That is why I never see any information within the conflict or within the reaction to show something within me. It's a brilliant opportunity to say, right, there's something in that for me to see because I've had the reaction. So that's what happens when the conflict is not healed. You know, there's separation. But separation with resentment and frustration and bad feeling. Whichever person both or one decides to work on the wound, that person no longer has that negative reaction. And when the wound is healed correctly and very beautifully, with love and respect for yourself, I promise you, what you will feel for the other person is actually compassion. So the wound no longer exists within you, and you don't have that negative reaction to the person. The other person hasn't done the healing work that's required. You naturally move away from it. It's like the energy within the two of you cause this separation that's necessary.
Yes.
For the person who's healed with love and compassion.
And the person who doesn't, let's say neither of them work on the original wound, but they separate away, they're just going to drag people into their lives that have similar energy again. If neither of them work on the original wound, let's say they see the problem but they don't work on the original wound, let's say they separate, but they're still going to be dragging other people into their life that has the same energy, so they're going to have the same problem. I think a lot of people say that, why does this always happen to me, or why do I always pick this type of guy, or I seem to have the same problem over and over again. So it's just the energy that they pull in.
It is because you are actually attracting that energy, and you can view it from a negative point of view. Why am I attracted the worst type of guys, or the man who could say, I attract, this type of woman. And you will continue to attract them because you are inviting it in. There's part of you trying to balance up the energy, and the lesson is in the conflict. The freedom is never in, peace is something that is not something that you discover because it's not with you. It's like the air we breathe. It's always there. I'm breathing.
Right.
You're breathing, right? It is always there. So peace is the same. Peace is like the breath. It is always there. But we're blocking out its reality through negative consciousness. And they're all negative memories. The secret is to work on that. What is it that is blocking me from not experiencing the peace? If I can't breathe correctly, it's something within me that is blocking it. Or I smoke 50 cigarettes a day, it is going to block the flow of my respiration, my breathing. So it is always something within ourselves.
So you're saying the problem is something within the person, and they're seeing it as an issue on the outside world all the time.
The outside, exactly. So the conflict they will keep experiencing the cycle of conflicts. They'll run away from one situation and say, okay, that's it, I am never doing that again, right? And the next minute they find themselves in the very, very same situation. So, and the reason they go into this other situation that it's similar to the one in the past is because they're unaware. They're unaware of what's going on. So the first step in all of this is to become aware and to have the will and the power and the sense of, I want to know, and go and investigate what it is. That's the first thing, is awareness. When you've got the awareness,
you want
it's actually
to know what the
very
problem is.
easy.
I want to know what the original wound is. Sorry,
go ahead. No, so we could talk about many different issues. As you said, people are watching this and they're going to reflect on it on their own personal issue.
Yes.
But the overall thing is that if there's a conflict, own 50% or 100% of it, depending on the situation. Usually it's 100%. Well, it always is when you're looking back into your own move, 100%.
Yeah, because if you fix yourself, the outside problem fixes. Even I imagine a lot of people probably looking at this saying, no, it's 70% the other person or 80% the other person. But I think what you're saying, if I'm hearing you right, is that if you fix yourself, that it solves the problem, even if it is all the other person. Who knows? But it's still.
But it never is, you see. I mean, when I said 50%, sometimes I say that in part of my work with people who I know are just so blocked. And they just don't want to look at 100% responsibility for themselves. So as a stepping stone. But then as I explain what's going on and they see it, then they're eventually able to accept 100% responsibility.
Yeah.
So it's not about saying that allowing the other person to get away with things. If somebody does something very dangerous or criminally unsafe for humanity, that person still has to be put away and in a place where it doesn't affect humanity. But, now we're getting into the conversation with the victimizer, There is always you attract something of that situation. Nothing happens just on its own. The energy is moving somehow at you. And then that is the time to go looking. If you continually blame, you are never out of the trap. You're never out of it.
Yeah. And in order to look for it, certainly I've found, in order to look for these original scars or original wounds, you really need to, I think you need to connect with another person, someone else who can pull it out, because it's very, very hard to find it yourself.
Alan, I'm sorry, I missed that again.
No, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm just saying, to find the original wound, it's very, very hard to find it yourself. You really need to kind of connect with someone who can pull it out of you. Can you hear me okay?
Exactly. It is. It does feel in the beginning like somebody is pulling a thorn out of your side. It does feel like that. But then when you experience the release, you go, wow, this is just wonderful. And I've been working many years in this particular profession of healing wounds and helping people see what it is so you're carrying the past with you, carrying around like a sack of, or a bag of rocks on your back all the time. And it is such a relief to let it go and to know that it will never follow you or be with you again. I mean, so that experience, and when another conflict comes up, which they will, we have so many memories of things that need balancing in our consciousness. And it's not about, oh my God, am I ever free of conflicts? The secret is, I am free because I know exactly how to manage it. Yes. Become aware of it, accept that that's there, and it's not really you. Really and truly, it's not you. It's just a negative attachment that you can. If you couldn't release it, then it is you. But that's not the way we're designed. We're designed as these great, powerful, God-loving consciousness, and that's what our true reality is. The other stuff is attachments, right? It's like an illness on our conscience, and we can remove it.
Yeah. No, I hear you, and I think some of these attachments and trials that we go through, we're kind of meant to. I think it makes you stronger, because I'll do exercise and I'll lift weights, and it's difficult and it hurts to lift the weights, but going through it and then letting go of the weights afterwards makes you strong. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but it makes you stronger.
Yeah, it's lovely. I love it, because you're going through the process, and then the release. That experience is beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
The release of the tension, right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very beautiful experience. I love your analogies, how you, and that's it, just in another way, oh my God, this pain. But, the moment you make the decision to say, I'm going to do something about this, the pain starts to go right away.
Yes.
And we're talking about emotional pain. There are other different levels. People are in physical pain, but still, always there's still an emotional attachment and negative for the manifestation of that physical reality. But if you're in physical pain, you need a doctor.